All right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? I want to break down R.Kelly's label situation as quickly as possible. So in 1991, R.Kelly signed to Jive Records. So for some people out there, you're going to be like, I thought R.Kelly was on a different label. So what happened was R.Kelly was on Jive Records in 91 when he first signed. And back in 2003, Sony took over Jive, all right? So technically, R.Kelly is now on Sony, or he was on Sony. As of a few minutes ago, it has been announced that Sony has dropped R.Kelly. Here's what happened. That Surviving R.Kelly documentary came out a couple weeks back, and it brought a lot to the forefront, and everybody started going into the deep history and closet of R.Kelly, no pun intended. I don't know what was trapped in that closet. Probably a lot of nastiness and filth. All right, that nasty man in Chicago. History pretty much got put on the forefront more than what it ever was. People all over the industry and people knew what was going on or alleged what was going on. But that documentary brought everything to the forefront. And when everything was brought to the forefront, a lot of people like self was like, dang, how's R. Kelly's music still getting to the masses of people? It takes a lot of money to have a hit record. And R. Kelly's had at least 5 or 6 hit records in the last 10 to 12 years. I'm like, yo, how's he still financing these records and these projects if they say he's broke? Reportedly, R. Kelly is broke, right? And we found out that the reason why R. Kelly was able to fund these projects is because he's still making his label a lot of money. And the fact that he's even still on a label is alarming. Ladies and gentlemen, the next sentence that comes out of my mouth will be factual information. Sony/RCA has always kept R. Kelly on their label no matter what has been alleged over the last 20 years. That has not been challenged. R. Kelly has consistently been on that label. They have not dropped him, ever even brought that to the forefront to R. Kelly. So that nasty man in Chicago, for the first time in his career, finds himself dropped by Sony. They dropped him. They said enough is enough. I don't respect the drop. I don't really respect the drop, to be honest with y'all, because I know Sony is doing this out of a place of desperation. To be 100% honest with you, there were people protesting outside of their offices in LA and New York. There's been a lot of people hitting them up after the documentary was showed. And I just really can't respect it because you know there are people over there that have been in the industry for quite some time at Sony. And you know that they pretty much just ignored every alleged, any type of accusation that was made in the direction of R. Kelly over the years. They pretty much ignored it. The only reason why this is at the forefront is because of that documentary and the fact that people were pissed and they're like, yo, this label has supported this guy over all these years. So I ain't really rocking with them dropping him with him right now. I guess it's the right thing to do at this moment, but to me, if it was in your heart to not be a part of this guy and his movement and what he's been able to do and kind of be a part of the power that it looks like he has possessed over a lot of people, you should have dropped him a long time ago. But money is always the center of every conversation. And because R. Kelly has made great music and has great catalog, people like Sony just ignored any allegation, and it took a documentary being watched by millions of people for any change to happen. So I don't really respect it. Now, for my music heads out there, Sony and RCA still own R. Kelly's music. They're going to own all that back catalog, anything that he's put out over the last 20, 25 years, they still own it. They're going to own all that music. R. Kelly doesn't own any of that, to be honest with you. Terrible business done by his part. There are a few records here and there where R. Kelly has some ownership, but overall, it's all owned by Sony. So anytime you stream a record from here on, that money is going to go majority to Sony. So I'm just letting you guys know, anytime you listen to R. Kelly's music from here on out, he's been dropped. He'll get his percentage, but for the most part, that money will go to Sony, and anything that R. Kelly puts out in the future, he's going to have to fund it himself. And funding music is not cheap, right? You know, a guy like R. Kelly, he might still have a fan base that might go by physical units. He's going to have to fund all the physical production by himself, right? He's, you know, and in regards to promoting his music, you know, he ain't going to do an interview. That nasty man in Chicago when they're doing an interview, right? So he's going to have to find different creative ways to promote. This man is over the age of 50. And from what I was told, he does not know how to read. He doesn't know how to write. He's illiterate. I mean, he just doesn't know how to do anything outside of sing music and be nasty. So he's gonna have to find ways to promote his music on his own. And again, funding that music is gonna be very difficult. Again, already reportedly facing financial hard times. I don't feel sorry for him. And to have to fund all of that music or whatever he decides to put out in the future, I just think it's gonna be tough. Now he can still go do shows. You know, I'm sure he has his own independent booking agents that he can still work with and do shows and everything like that. But in regards to the actual funding of R. Kelly's career going forward, he's a free man. Sony has dropped him, and they're putting out the press releases to say that they both agreed to part ways. Sony and R. Kelly both agreed. Trust me, it wasn't that. If R. Kelly had it his way, he'd still be on Sony. It's just that this social media attack of Sony and the pressure that these protesters have put on Sony, it put them in a hard place, and they decided to, pause that. Pause. Anywho, they decided to drop R. Kelly, and that is where we're at. And I want to say this too, because this needs to be said. There's a lot of guys like me. I don't care what R. Kelly had going on in his bedroom. I really don't care. But as a man who wants to bring kids into this world someday, and if I have to bring a daughter into this world someday, we care what's going on in another nigga bedroom when he's involving teenagers, all right? Or women that we know, or girls that we know are not of age to make decisions on their own and can be easily influenced like we were as teenagers, and especially a man with the power and money that this man had back in the day. We care then. We care then. We coming to your bedroom then. All right. Other than that, we don't care how many women he done did with what, as long as the women are of age. That's the only time us men, we want to get involved in that. All right. We men that got daughters. I've talked to other men that got daughters in this world. Like, yo, we don't, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't. And I just called Chief. He said that ain't it. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, support. Again, R. Kelly has been dropped by RCA/Sony. They own pretty much all his back catalog. So if you, again, and when you ever listen to R. Kelly, that's who's gonna get the bulk of the money. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Y'all talk to me in the comment box below. What's your thoughts on Sony dropping R. Kelly at this moment? Do you respect it or not? I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
Got the kids that you are now tuned in.
Yeah, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.